So hello everyone and welcome to another Excel tutorial. So today we are going to do count ifs and average ifs. I'm going to show you how to write the count ifs and the average if formulas in Excel. So just a disclaimer, this data set is not a real data set. This data set is not the data set of real subjects. It's just a data set just drawn at random for the purpose of this tutorial. So in front of us here is an insurance data set, and this insurance data set has the columns titled the age, the sex, the BMI values, the children, number of children these people have. It shows if they're smokers or not, the region they're from, and the insurance charges they pay. Now, if you want to manipulate this data in a way that you want to find, let's say for example, you want to calculate the average based on certain conditions, or you want to count the number of people in the data set based on certain conditions, this is when you are going to use the count ifs or the average ifs. If you want to also sum based on certain conditions, you use the sum ifs. So the sum ifs and the average ifs, they have the same formula. So if you can write the sum ifs, you can also write the average ifs and vice versa. So now I want to show you how to do that. So there are different ways you can do that. You can do this manipulation using the pivot table, but I'll also show you why the pivot table sometimes have a limitation when you're doing this, or it's somehow difficult to do things with the pivot table rather than doing it with the count ifs or the average ifs. So let's go straight to the tutorial and you see what I'm talking about. So now I want to find, let's say for example, now I want to find the average charges of people that are smokers. So that is one condition. So I'm going to use the average if. So if I want to find the average charges of people that are smokers and are female, that is two conditions. Smokers, the person has to be a smoker and the person has to be a female. So that's when I'll use the average ifs. So one condition average if, more than one condition average ifs. Same with count ifs too. One condition count if, more than one condition count ifs. So now let's go straight to the point. So now let's do the average if. Let's do the first condition. Okay, let's find the average charges of a smoker. So we'll do it, then we'll now use the pivot table to confirm our answers. So the average charges of a smoker. So first of all, you write this formula here, equals to average if, since it's one condition, average if. So when you are doing the average if, you now pick the column that has the condition you are looking for. So here is a smoker. I want to find a smoker, so the person has to yes to smoking. So I'll take this there, select that whole column apart from the headings. I'm not taking the headings. If you could see, then you put the condition, so the person has to be yes to smoking. Then you put a comma, then you now go to the column that has the charges that you want to average and just select everything and then close it and press enter. So this shows you the average charge of a person, that is a smoker. So this is the average charge of a person that is a smoker. So now let's do that with the pivot table and confirm this answer. So for the pivot table, you select everything, you insert pivot tables. Let's insert it just here, just by the side in this existing sheet. Sorry, let's do that again. Insert. So existing sheet, let's insert it just here and press OK. So this is a pivot table. So now I want to find the average charge of a smoker. So I'll take the smoking here, smoker yes or no will appear on my rows like I have it here. Then we'll now take the values, which are the charges, and take them into the values section. And automatically it's going to give us a sum, so we are going to change it to the average. So you see, yes smoking 32050, which is the same thing we had here, 32050. So that is how to do it. So you can do it in both ways. So I will show you the limitations of pivot table soon. Then the next thing we have to do is, let's do count ifs. Let's have more than one condition. So let's assume that we want to find the average charge of a person that is female and is a smoker. So that is when you use the average ifs. So this is how to write the formula. I say equals to average ifs average ifs. So for the average ifs, the first thing you need to pick that column that contains the values you want to average before you start putting in the conditions. So I'm going to pick this column of charges there. Then I'll start writing in the conditions. So the first condition is the person must be a female. So you pick the sex column from the second row to the end and put in the condition there, comma, put in the condition in quotations as what? Female. Female, comma, then pick the smoker column down and put in the condition as yes to smoking, and take that off and press enter. So this gives you the average charges of someone that is female and is also a smoker. So this is how to use the average ifs. So there are two conditions there. So I can use many conditions, but I'll get to that in a minute. So now let's confirm this answer using the pivot table. So let's use the same pivot table. Let's just take this off. And now remember, we are looking for the average charges of someone that is a female and is a smoker. So the first thing we need to put here in our rows, so let's put the gender here. Let's put the gender in our rows, which is the sex in the rows. Then put the smokers in the columns. Try to show yes or no in the columns. So that does it. This gives us yes or no. No, yes. Then let's put the values, which is the charges, in the value section, and let's take the averages as usual. So when you do that, you see that the average charges of someone who is a female and smokes, which is yes, is 30678.99, which is approximately 30679, which is what we have here. So we can see that that average is formula is doing it right. So now, why I say the limitations of pivot table? Okay, let me see. Now I want to have a third condition now. So the person must be a female, the person must be a smoker, and the person must have a BMI of more than 33. So that will be kind of tricky to do with the pivot table, but you can do it with the average ifs function. So let me show you how to do that. So the person is female, the person smokes, and the person has a body mass index of above 33. So that is what I want to average. So now it can be tricky doing that with the pivot table, or if it could be done at all, I don't know, but I think using the average is the best bet. So what we are going to do here is we are going to go to here and write another one and say average ifs. You take the row, the column you want to average, which is the BMI charge, which is the insurance charges of the test subjects. Then you now say put the conditions. The person must be, first of all, a female. Secondly, the person must be a smoker. pick the smoker column from the second row and put yes to smoking. And finally, the person must have a body mass index of more than 33. So body mass index there, now put it inside quotation, must be greater than, sorry, that's less than, must be greater than 33. And close it. So this person is female, she's a smoker, and the person has a body mass index of greater than 33. So you can do it in whichever way you want to do it. Less than or equals to. So you press enter. So that will give you 44096. So this can be tricky doing with the pivot table, but with this count average ifs, we've done it. So before we conclude this tutorial session, let's quickly do count if. So count if, let's say count if is for one condition and count ifs is for multiple conditions. Let's say I want to count the number of female subjects in this our sample. So what do? I just go equals to count if, and just select here down and just put female. Just put the condition there as female and close it and press go. So we have 662 subjects here as females. Very simple. So count if you take the column you want to count and you put the criteria female. You click enter and it gives it to you. You can do this with the pivot table too. So just count the number of female subjects here, 662. So if you want to do count if, let's say I want to count the number of female subjects that are smokers. So what will I do? I'll just do this and just say count ifs and female subjects, female, and smokers. Let's pick the smokers column. Yes or no is yes. So it's yes. Put that, hit enter. Female, this one must be count ifs. So why is it giving us 0? What are we doing wrong? Let's check that again. So the spelling of the female was wrong. I wrote female instead of female, so change that to E. So that will give us 115. So those are the number of females that are smokers. So if you want to confirm this, you can use the pivot table. Let's use the same pivot table here. Go to pivot, analyze, field. Let's take all this off. And count the number of females here that are actually smokers. So you just go here. Let's take the females back, the gender, which is the sex, back into the rows, smokers and non-smokers back into the column. Then let's just count. We can just count anything here. Let's count the charges here. So let's just count it. That should give us the same answer. So press OK. You see, number of females that are smokers are 115, which was the same thing we got when we used this count ifs formula. So that is how to do it. So that is how to use the count if, the count ifs, the average if and the average ifs, and I've shown you that you can use the pivot table and these formulas. But where it gets tricky is when you are using when you have another criteria that has to do with numbers greater than, less than, or less than or equals to. That is where using the pivot table will be kind of tricky. It's not as if you can do it, but if you want to just display the numbers with a formula, it's just the best bet is just to use the average ifs. So thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope this helped. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.